A day in the life of a medieval knight. Would you survive the Middle Ages? The first thing you hear is not the morning bird song, but the dull clang of the blacksmith's hammer echoing through the castle walls. You open your eyes to the cold gray of dawn. The air bites at your face, and the straw mattress beneath you feels rough and damp. This is no romantic fairy tale. You're not a shining hero from a bedtime story. You're a knight in the 14th century, and every single day is a fight for survival. Your bones ache from yesterday's training, but there's no time to rest. You rise before the sun because a knight's duty doesn't wait. You pull on your linen undershirt, scratchy wool hose, and thick tunic. The air smells faintly of smoke, sweat, and damp stone. Your squire, barely a teenager, arrives with a basin of icy water for you to wash your face. You'd better thank him. Water like this isn't free in effort. It was hauled from the well before first light. Breakfast is meager. Coarse bread, a hunk of cheese, maybe some salted pork if the cook was generous. You chew slowly because there's no telling when your next meal will be. The kitchen fire struggles against the chill, and you notice your fellow knights, men hardened by years of warfare, sitting silently, eyes half closed. They're already thinking about the day ahead. Then comes the armor. People imagine slipping into a suit of plate as if it were a comfortable jacket. In reality, it's closer to locking yourself inside a metal prison. First, the padded gambeson, thick enough to make you sweat even in the winter. Then the chainmail, which feels like carrying another man on your shoulders. Finally, the gleaming steel plates, cuirass, pauldrons, greaves, all strapped tight by your squire. The whole suit can weigh up to 60 pounds, and you'll wear it for hours, sometimes days, at a time. Training begins in the castle yard. Sword in hand, you face an opponent. Sometimes another knight, sometimes a post wrapped in straw. The sword is not light, nor is it designed for endless swinging. After just minutes, your arms feel like they're on fire. Then comes lance practice on horseback, your destrier snorting clouds into the morning air. This horse is as much a warrior as you are, trained to charge through chaos and blood. But he's also expensive, so expensive that losing him in battle could ruin you financially. But training is only part of your day. A knight is not just a soldier, you're also a servant to your lord. That means patrolling his lands, ensuring taxes are collected, and, if needed, putting down peasant revolts. It might not sound glamorous, but your honor, your livelihood, and your very life depend on loyalty to the man who owns your armor and pays your keep. And loyalty in the Middle Ages often means bloodshed. Speaking of blood, wounds are inevitable. A deep cut from a sword, a splintered lance through the shoulder, even a fall from your horse can end your career. And here's the brutal truth. Medieval medicine is a gamble. Infection kills more knights than enemy swords. A wound that would be a minor inconvenience today could mean fever, agony, and death in days. By midday, if you're lucky, you get a rest. A goblet of watered wine, more bread, perhaps a slab of roasted meat if your lord's table is generous. But rest is relative. Even in peace, danger lurks. Bandits prowl the countryside, rival lords plot in secret, and news from the borders can turn a quiet afternoon into a summons to war. And war is never far away. The call to arms can come at any moment. A horn blast, a messenger on horseback, or your lord himself shouting orders. Within the hour, you could be riding hard toward an enemy stronghold, the sun glinting off hundreds of steel helmets. The pounding of hooves, the creak of leather, the distant sound of drums, it all builds until the clash begins. When battle comes, it's chaos. The smell of blood, sweat, and churned up mud fills your nostrils. Arrows hiss through the air, swords ring against shields, and men scream, some in fury, some in terror. You charge forward with your lance lowered, your destrier thundering beneath you. The impact when you strike is bone-jarring, sometimes lethal, for your opponent, sometimes for you. If you fall in the melee, there's no guarantee you'll rise again. Plate armor may save you from a single sword stroke, but once you're on the ground, you're as vulnerable as any man. The weight can pin you down, your visor limits your vision, and your enemies know exactly where to strike. Should you survive the fight, victory is not always glorious. You might return with wounds that never heal properly, your horse dead, your friends gone. You might be richer with plunder, or poorer, owing debts for armor repairs and lost equipment. And then, as quickly as it began, life returns to its rhythm of training, serving, and waiting for the next summons. But here's the question. Could you endure it? Could you survive the endless discipline, the physical punishment, the ever-present risk of sudden death? You'd need the endurance of an athlete, the skill of a master swordsman, the patience of a monk, and the luck of a gambler. Romance and chivalry make for good stories, but the truth is far harsher. In the Middle Ages, being a knight was not about shining armor or courtly love. It was about survival in a world where honor was worth killing for, and life could be ended by a single unlucky moment. So, would you survive a day in the life of a medieval knight? Or would the cold, the hunger, the wounds, and the weight of steel bring you to your knees before the sunset? In the end, only the strongest, the most ruthless, and the luckiest could call themselves true knights of the Middle Ages.